5th, 2022, it was reported that at the young age of 56 years old, Kevin Samuels had died from an apparent heart attack. All the details are still a little unclear. It's still a little early, but there was a report where the mother of Kevin Samuels came out and reported and confirmed that yes, her son had indeed passed away. I'm sure as time develops, we're going to hear more reports. We're going to hear more details of what actually happened. And right now it's a little unclear. It was reported that Wednesday night, which was May 4th, I'm guessing sometime in the morning. Again, the details were still a little unclear. He was staying with a female friend that lived in his same building, and he was complaining about chest pain. He complained about chest pain, and at some point he rolled over on her. She called 911. She also phoned the front desk for a defibrillator to try to keep him awake, and they took him in to the ambulance. And again, man, all the details as far as what's going on are still a little unclear. I don't know if he passed away in the ambulance, if he passed away on site, if he passed away at the hospital, but it's unfortunate. You know, he was social media, YouTube mogul, so to say. He coined the phrase, and you might know him from this, high value man. There's a lot of people out there that didn't like Kevin Samuels, but there's a lot of people out there that Kevin Samuels, I feel, probably touched in one way or another. There's no denying that he definitely started a trend when it came to talking about these high value men and women. You didn't see a lot of that out there on YouTube. You didn't see a lot of that out there in podcasts. You just didn't see it out there. If you got to remember, Kevin Samuels blew up in a time where the Me Too movement was big, where women empowerment was big, and everything was on the up and up, the rise. And here comes this guy who's a relationship guru who comes out and says that women are overshooting, or women are unrealistic with their expectations. And he had a lot of knowledge to back that up. He had a lot of data to back that up. That data came in the form of simple questions as far as, what are you looking for? What are your do's? What are your don'ts? Or what are you accepting and what are you not accepting? And when it came down to it, a lot of these women were shooting for the moon, man. They were looking for guys who were 6'2 plus and this and that, money this, and everything was right. And he broke it down to him. He said, look, you're looking for less than 2%, sometimes even less than 1% of the men's population worldwide. Not taking into consideration the people who are, those men that are already in relationships or are already married. So he definitely brought a different view of the way he wanted to get his message out, or a different delivery on how he wanted to get his message out. He made a lot of women mad. He made a lot of women mad, but he also exposed a lot of women. He challenged women, especially in the OnlyFans community. He challenged them to really think about where their next meal is going to be coming from. For a moment there, OnlyFans was set to be going away, or at least get away from their mature content. And he challenged these women, you know, where's your money coming from? Where's your next check coming from if this does indeed happen? He could have come off condescending. He could come off narcissistic at times, but he was smart. He knew his stuff. He was smart. And it's a difficult situation, especially being so early on. I was looking for more information. There wasn't a lot of information out there. And, you know, I wasn't the biggest follower of Kevin Samuels. In that golden era about a year ago, when he was starting to explode and all the controversial clips were out, it was definitely entertaining to watch. It was definitely fun to see him show up or show out on people. Because, again, he'd ask basic questions. And these questions would give him all the information he needed to find out if there were realistic expectations, if expectations were being framed properly. That was the majority of the time that wasn't the case. And I think that people really started to catch on with Kevin Samuels, the majority of the masses. Because at first I feel like it was just men, and it might have been a specific type of men. But then there was that viral clip where a man came out and he was like, how much money do you make? And he makes below average. He's overweight. He's short. He's not well hung, so to say. And he called him out. So he's the same ruthlessness that he had showed these previous women, he showed to a fellow man. So it wasn't a bias on gender or sex or whatever the proper word for that is, but it was what can you bring to the table? What can you provide? And in the case of that man, he was wanting to know what his day market value was and what he should be shooting for based on his answers, based on his income, based on his physique, based on his ability to perform in the bedroom. By the way, if you're hearing some nasally, it's my allergies. Allergies are still in. But based on all that information, he would give you what your dating market value was. So it was non-biased across the board. If men were shooting for the stars, he would let them know you got to come down a bit. He also did that with women. But the reason why I believe that it went more viral with women, and I believe the reason why it seemed like it was more geared or targeted towards women, is because with that women or woman empowerment movement came a lot of people thinking they were above, in a sense, men. And that's how we got to where we kind of are, where no man is good enough for most women. And Kevin Samuels' message was most women overshoot, overexpect, and they need to bring themselves down. And one of the biggest things that was controversial with Kevin, and one of the things that would always go viral, is he'd always ask you to rate yourself. He'd always eliminate the 7 because it was too easy to give a 7. And women would claim to be, the majority of the time, actually, I don't think I ever saw a time where a woman gave herself the proper or even lower, and Kevin Samuels corrected it. It was always they were overshooting and he would bring them down. And I don't believe it was to bring down women in general. I truly do believe it was just because he wanted them to frame their expectations. He understood the world that we were in a time where it was easy to go with the grain. He went against it. And he said, no, you're overshooting. I understand that women empowerment is great, but where has that gotten you? You're single. You're complaining that you want a man, and you come to me to tell you why you don't have a man or can't get a man. And then you're getting mad at me for telling you that you're overshooting. You're not a 9. You're a 5 or whatever. And the whole scale really, really got to a lot of people, really pissed a lot of people off. It really did. Because in a time where women were being valued, he was, in a sense, I guess, undervaluing them. But he was putting a number on them to make them to... I think that the way it was perceived was that he was, by numbering them or by categorizing them, he was playing to their insecurities, or the insecurities that have always been in place when it came to women. Because it's always been hard for women with the magazines now, with the social medias and everything. But Alyssa and I were having this conversation where we said that every girl, in a sense, is going for the same look. Like, I don't know her name. Kylie Jenner, I think it's the Jenner that's with Travis Scott. I don't think she's pretty. I don't think she's pretty. She has the same look. I don't think she's pretty. And that look is so sought after that not only is plastic surgery, not just been an option, but become a reality. But you're getting the same look across the board. There's no more what makes you stand out. It's funny that it seemed that we were always as a society, or with the movement, trying to get away from the insecurities of women and letting them know that they're beautiful the way they are. Yet, at the same time, the message being delivered was, if you don't look like this, you won't get everything in the world. This is what beauty looks like, and if you don't look like this, you're not quite there yet. So it's very contradicting. But when you have a man coming in and commenting on women at that time, it was frowned upon, and it was looked on as he was mansplaining and trying to bring that movement down, I guess. So it was a tricky situation to be in, and he stuck to it, made his fame from it, made his money. I shouldn't say his money. I don't know where his money came from. but I know he made money from it. Developed a following, a community. I think it was like 1.4 million YouTube subscribers and 1.2 or 1.3 Instagram followers. So he definitely shot up. He was smart. The way he spoke was very, very smart. Very smart. Then he started to kind of come down a little bit as far as the trending stuff. And I believe that was because people started to understand what they were getting with Kevin. And a lot of those viral clips now weren't being pushed. It was more so the conversation. You had to see it all in context to understand. So it was a good transition, because now it wasn't just you're watching my clips. I want you to actually watch my live streams. I want you to watch what I'm doing in its entirety. And there would be 2 hours plus. Sometimes shorter, but they'd be 2 hours plus. So this isn't a podcast to promote any negativity towards women, but it's more so to shed light on the legacy that Kevin Samuels is leaving behind. Because you can't take that away. You can't take away how he stood up in a time where people were afraid to make any statements against the women's empowerment movement and play to the, yeah, you're this, you're that, as opposed to being honest, what friends are supposed to be doing. And I'm not saying Kevin Samuels was a friend, but he was definitely honest in his approach, and he was honest in his evaluations, at least to him. It's all subjective, remember, but there's no denying what he's leaving behind, what he created, the movement that he started with all these other content creators and all these other YouTubers, Fresh and Fit, there's a financial podcast. I can't remember what the name of it is, but you have so many like that now feel, their whole thing is to comment on where women are, what they're looking for, why they're not married, why they can't get the guy they're looking for. That's all that pops up on my feed is Women Get Humbled Part 1, entitled Women Get Humbled Part 27. When men stop simping, when women show up feminism, things like that. That's all that pops up on my feed. So he definitely started this movement where maybe we can get back to honesty. Maybe we can get back to not all trying to look like Kylie Jenners. Have some individuality. Have something that separates us from everybody else. Because again, the message is there. You could be pretty, but if you don't look like this, you're not quite there yet. That's why I don't understand how that's, I don't know. If a guy tells you it's wrong, if a woman shows it to you like Kylie, you strive for it. It's a little backwards, but I'm not here to tell anyone what they should do or shouldn't do. I just know that it's sad. It's sad. I feel like he had a lot more to give. There was more messages to be had. There's more lessons to be learned. And unfortunately, he passed away at the young age of 56. So rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. And to his community, his followers, best way to keep his memory alive is to keep his message alive. Sad news. We got other things in the works. This felt like it was more important. Let's get this out there. Let's continue to get that, push that positivity, push that honest, push the truth, I should say. And keep striving. As always, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You guys know what to do. And follow the podcast, Culture Punch Podcast, any platform that you guys listen to. That's it. That's all I got. Peace.